Here's a young woman from 1896 looking straight at you with a quiet confidence that feels surprisingly modern. There is nothing dramatic about the moment. What stands out is the quiet modernity, the ease in her posture, the confidence in those crossed legs, and the sense that her thoughts are already moving beyond the room she's in. And that's what makes this portrait compelling. At a time when portraits of women followed a strict script, she isn't performing any of it. She's simply present, thoughtful, and a little ahead of her era. A small shift, but one that still matters today. Welcome, my friend. You've wandered into the art bog again. This painting is titled Dreams, Sogni in Italian, and it's all about understatement. Painted in 1896, it blends realism with an interior quiet. A young woman sits facing the viewer, her expression calm and self possessed, inviting us to think about identity, expectations, and what femininity meant at the end of the 19th century. It doesn't try to impress you, and it's not in your face. It simply holds its ground, and that restraint is part of why it lasts. Vittorio Matteo Corcos, born in Livorno in 1859, became one of Italy's leading portrait artists. He trained in Florence, where he developed a detail-focused approach you see throughout his work. Studies in Naples broadened his technique. The major shift came in Paris, working with Léon Bonnat. That experience connected him to European artistic circles and sharpened his interest in psychology, something his portraits became known for. When he returned to Florence, he painted high society with a rare sensitivity to expression and emotional undercurrents. Dreams is a clear extension of that approach. The sitter's relaxed posture, especially the crossed legs, was unusual in 1896 Italy. Portraits of women often reinforced strict decorum. This one gently steps outside those boundaries. Corcos uses muted earth tones and a minimal background, keeping attention on her. The realism shows in the embroidery, the folds of her dress, the natural handling of light. But her expression carries the weight, steady, thoughtful, and quietly private. Corcos brings together solid realist training with touches of symbolist sensibility. Everything is carefully observed, yet the emphasis is on her inner life rather than outward perfection. Corcos doesn't idealize, yet he doesn't insult either. She is presented in a rather pleasant way. He doesn't flatten her into a female archetype. He shows a real person with a real interior world. You almost want to give her a penny for her thoughts. And back then, that was real money. The title Dreams signals introspection, and that's exactly what the painting conveys. She seems deep in her own thoughts without dramatizing them. Her posture and gaze also point toward changing ideas of femininity. They echo the early shape of the new woman. a figure associated with independence and self expression at the turn of the century. When dreams appeared in exhibitions, it stood out because it expanded the possibilities of how women could be seen in art, not on a pedestal, not ornamental, simply present, thoughtful, and individual. Italy was beginning to explore new ideas about women's roles, and Corcos's portrait quietly aligned with that shift. It appeared in significant early 20th century exhibitions, helping secure his place in Italian art. Today, Dreams is recognized as a meaningful step in Italian portraiture, a blend of realism and psychological depth that points toward modern approaches. Artists interested in introspection, identity, and emotional nuance still look back to works like this. Corcos himself moved through important cultural circles, including figures like Gabriele D'Annunzio, an Italian writer known for his dramatic, psychologically charged novels and plays, and for his larger than life public persona. And while Dreams is his most famous work, it sits with a larger body of portraits documenting Italy's social world at the turn of the century. The portrait endures because it feels honest, grounded, steady, and attentive to the complexity of a single moment. You can see Dreams in person at the National Gallery of Modern and Contemporary Art in Rome, where it's held today as part of their permanent collection. If you enjoy looking beneath the surface of artworks, there's plenty more waiting here. I've been your host, Bogdan Migulski, and if you want more deep dives like this, feel free to subscribe to the Art Bog. It helps the bog grow and brings more art stories your way. Well, there it is. See you in the next wander.